Okay, we're going to do a little video tutorial here on doing the repair for the Eclipse OSP problem from this morning. First thing you need to do is go to a browser and then the open source physics path, which is on your documentation inside of AML. Next, do a download. And let's save to documents. If it still is zipped when you download it, sometimes it'll unzip depending on your configuration. Make sure the file is unzipped. Right. Next, switch over to Workspace in Eclipse. And let's use a fresh workspace. So I'm going to say switch workspace and then open up a new space altogether. I'll call this September 1. We'll say OK to that, and it should drop us into a new workbench. Okay, so we've got a new workbench. After we're in, we're going to say File, and then Import. And we're going to import from an existing project, and then say Next. And then we're going to browse our download folder. Let's see here. Downloads. And then Workspace Compadre. Mine is labeled Workspace Compadre 7 because I've used a couple of them this year. And then say Open. And then you'll notice the different OSP libraries. You have to make sure that you click Copy Projects into Workspace. And then say Finish. Okay, it's slowly building the OSP libraries, and it's going to be doing some copying for a second. You'll notice down on the bottom it says Building Workspace, and currently it's at 5%. We can't move on until that says 100%. When this is done, we'll be creating a new folder, an AML folder, where your programs will live. Now eventually, this workspace can live inside of your Dropbox or your USB folders. But for the moment, let's just have this on the hard drive to make sure that we can get it going. So the next step, we say File, New, and then Java Project. Say AML. And we need to say Next. And then click on Projects. And then Add. And then click on the OSP folders. Say OK. And then Finish. Okay, we've got our AML folder and our source folder. So let's just test this with a simple class, say File, New, Class. And I'm kind of following the handout that Charlie provided you this morning. Next thing to do is give it a name. We'll call this Graphics G. Give it a main, finish. And let's just test this to make sure that the import is working for the different folders. Import OSP.OpenSource physics, and then we'll use a frame to display the graphics. org, then OSP. Right. Oops. Org open source. Right. Org open source physics. Source physics. Alright. Org open source physics dot frame dot star. Frames dot star. Okay, here we go. Next thing to do is create a sample frame. We'll use a plot frame and then my frame as it is in the handout. And we're going to need to give it some labels. And then test. and then I think it's my frame dot set visible true, and let's compile this to make sure that's working okay. We should see a box with an X and Y label and no graphics in the middle, but definitely a holder for those graphics. There we go. So here's our Y, here's our X, and then the grid. So that should about do it. This shouldn't take too long, as you've seen this take in less than 2 or 3 minutes. If you can get this done before the next class, that would be ideal. If not, we can do this in class.